It's our prison garden, and it has, I garden there with 7 inmates, and they work every morning, and I work with them 2 mornings a week and give them directions for the next days. It's an acre. We have an acre that we can use. Right now we're composting on half of it, and we're growing on half of it, and I just loaded up a week's worth of food scraps from the kitchen back here so we can take it over. So we're building the soil in the section that we're not growing in while we grow in the section that we can handle.
These prisoners already know how to do this, or are you training them?
Really, none of us knew how to do it.
Especially the composting of it.
I mean, I knew how to do, we have a network of gardens. We have 15 gardens. A lot of them are very small. And so building those out and partnering with different places and getting them, helping them do it and resource them and empower them, I learned how to do that part of it, garden part of it. Farming is a little bit different. The scale is very different, right? So,
who pays for the water?
What's that?
Who pays for the water?
The prison pays for the water. Yep. We installed a drip irrigation system, and we mulch heavily. So we do things that reduce the amount of water that we have to use, but it's still a half an acre of vegetables. So it's still a lot of water. They get half the food, the prison does, and Friendship Trails gets half the food. So
that's a good prison to actually be in.
if you want to break the law, request to go to Charlotte Correctional Center. Yeah, and I'm sure you can imagine the food that they served before we came wasn't very good, but we're working with the kitchen staff there to learn how to cook what we give them in different ways. So they've had zucchini boiled about 12 times. So we're trying to get them a couple new recipes and get them going on that. So again, the network of gardens is, there are 15 of them, including the acre at the prison. We have 2 goals: to teach gardening and to grow food for Friendship Trails.
And tell them just real quickly about the prisoners and their individual plots of what they do with it. That was your idea.
So we're talking about scale, and the farm being a really big scale and backyard being a little bit different. And so to teach them and empower them to be able to, when they leave prison, to have a backyard garden and understand how to make all those choices and run it, we set up individual plots at the farm. So they each have a 4 by 8 foot plot that's next to the big garden. And anything that they grow in there, and they can grow whatever they want. They make all the choices. I give them the plants and the seeds. They grow whatever they want. Whatever they grow in there, they can give to their families that come and visit them. So their families come, and they actually get to sit outside up on a hill at picnic tables. It is a very nice prison. So they visit their families up on this hill overlooking this beautiful garden. They can talk to them about it. Their families can bring them food if it's consumed at that meeting. So their families have been able to bring them, and I always bring them junk food, McDonald's and whatever they're missing. So now their families bring them Taco Bell, and my guys hand them a bag of vegetables that they grew, so they can feed their family from prison, which is pretty neat. So it's funny because they grow whatever they want. So a lot of them have, very typical backyard garden. They've got 3 tomato plants and 4 squash plants and a row of green beans. One guy, all watermelons. That's it. Just big watermelon vines everywhere.
Hot peppers, somebody has.
Yeah, one guy, all he has is hot peppers, and I don't know how he's gonna. I don't know if his wife and kids are gonna be excited to have a bag of hot peppers. I mean, I teach a class called Compost Gardening on Tuesdays with the culinary students, and what we do is I teach them several methods of composting that we do on site back there, and then we take care of that demonstration garden, and through that they learn how to garden and how to compost, essentially. That canning and freezing question, we're on the cusp of having to figure that out, which is a good problem to have, having too much food. Before we started the prison garden, 14 relatively, I mean, small, big for a backyard garden, but small for anything that's producing food that goes to somewhere that has 700 meals a day. We weren't producing enough to have that problem. But now, when we bring in 200 pounds of squash, it's like, we're right with that. But they're doing a good job using it up. That's at another rehab place that's the SABRE program that's run through Urban Ministry Center. And that's for addiction recovery. Those two, we don't get, they give us a small amount of food, but they keep a lot of it. And our relationship with everyone is a little bit different. We do ask that every garden keep some of the food, because otherwise it's not sustainable if they're just giving all of it away. So the churches will make like a salad for their Wednesday night supper, or we just had VBS at Matthews Presbyterian, and we had potatoes for that. I made scalloped potatoes for that. So the relationship with the ones that are in those addiction recovery places, most of that food stays with those people because they really need it too. So they do get to come and donate some and tour the facilities and see that they're part of a larger picture, a larger program.